But I actually have an interesting topic that maybe you could put in a video, talk about it in a video yourself, or something we could discuss, because this is something I had on my mind. Who are some rappers that have like dipped their toes into the horrorcore genre, but they didn't do a lot of it? Like, is there any rappers you can think of that should have did a lot more horrorcore music that didn't do enough of it? Because I can think of a lot. Like, for example, Snoop Dogg. Snoop Dogg kind of did horrorcore rap with "Murder Was the Case" remix. That sounds like a horror song, and it's like Snoop did a really good job with it, and I think he should do more of it because he's been in horror movies. I mean, he's in a movie where he's the serial killer, Bones. He made another horror movie. So Snoop Dogg's done horror films, but it seems like horrorcore is something Snoop Dogg doesn't really do, and I would like to see Snoop Dogg do that more often because I think he could do something special with it. Because "Murder Was the Case" remix was dope, and that was horrorcore. I'd like to see Dr. Dre do more horrorcore. He should do more horrorcore because he kind of did it with Natural Born Killers. He kind of did it with what the hell was that song? Murder from Chronic. I wish he was on that song. He should have been on there. And then the Relapse album. Dre should do more horrorcore rap. I'd love to see what he could do in that field. I think 50 Cent should do more horrorcore rap because the only time he did was Psycho, and I thought he pulled it off really well. I liked Psycho with him and Eminem. 50 was really good on that shit. I'd like to see 50 Cent do some more horrorcore rap. I would also like to see Hopsin do some more horrorcore rap too, because I feel like Hopsin has done it, but he doesn't keep up with it. I mean, he's did it here and there, but Hopsin doesn't really do horrorcore rap anymore. I think he needs to do more of that for sure, even though he's done it more than the others. He should do it more. Eminem, I think, needs to do more horrorcore. I mean, he's done it here and there in his old career. He did do a lot of it in 2009 with Relapse, but he kind of stopped doing it after that. He only does it every now and then. And I'd like to see Eminem do horrorcore a lot more. Basically what I mean is rappers doing more horror-themed music. So those are the artists I can think of currently that would be cool. B.O.B., I would also like to see him do more horrorcore because he did a pretty good job in "Am I a Psycho?" I love his chorus in that song. I actually thought his verse was my favorite, So I'd like to see B.O.B. do more horrorcore because he doesn't really do that. "Am I a Psycho?" worked really well. So there's a lot of rappers that I think could really make some killer stuff if they did more horrorcore.
Yeah, that's a good topic about the horrorcore stuff. And I would have to say, I definitely agree that Dr. Dre should probably do more horrorcore. A song that I kind of wish would have gotten a sequel somehow that basically never did was "Guilty Conscience." Like, Eminem and Dr. Dre did a terrific type idea. I felt like that idea could have been used a couple more times, like not just "Guilty Conscience," but just like other moods or something like that they could have done, where they could have had like Dr. Dre kind of being like the angel on his shoulder and Eminem. I mean, it'd be a perfect way to showcase how much more nuts that Eminem was. And I feel like Tech Nine is always good with horrorcore. He could do more of that. I'd like to see Yellow Wolf do some horrorcore. I definitely think he did a good job. I want to say that he had like faint lapses of it on like Chunk Music, some of those, like Chunk Music 0 to 60. I felt like, even though it wasn't a horrorcore song, that song he did with Gucci Mane felt pretty close to horrorcore. Maybe that could have been something like that. I'd like to see Gucci Mane do horrorcore. That'd be interesting. And more Eminem would be doing that. And then I also think what you were saying about Snoop Dogg is a solid idea also. Really, I haven't seen that Bones movie, but I do think like Snoop Dogg was onto the right thing because it just looked cool. That's the thing about that movie, is it looked pretty cold.
Yeah, "Guilty Conscience" sequel would be pretty cool because that was a good song, and they definitely should have did a follow-up. I think originally that song was called like "Good Guy, Bad Guy," or it had a different name. I don't know what the original name was, but maybe what the original name was is what they could call the sequel, They could just call it like "Evil Conscious" or something, Maybe they could do like a music video where they could touch on Dre's past when he used to like beat up certain women. Like, I could show Eminem's evil side taking over Dre, and it shows him nowadays getting back into abusing women or something, and not that he would really do it again, but have it as a part of the song, and then maybe they could have another part of the song where Dre's good side goes into Eminem You know, when he's like playing this Slim Shady character pretending to eat pills, and then when Dre goes into him, he snaps out of it back to that recovery era with Dre's soul in him or something. That would be something interesting they could do, especially with a music video.